people who probably didn't see part one of this, I'm going to just try to sum it up for y'all, and then I'm going to get back to where I was before the live ended. So basically what we have summed up was that Job is basically going through a hard season, right? And what he does is he starts complaining to his friends, because if y'all remember in the book of Job, Job had some friends that came to visit him, right? Because he was going through a hard time. Life was coming up against him. He lost all his kids. His health started to go down. He was going through a lot. His friends came and sat with him. And y'all remember God said that he was going through so much that his friends just sat in silence, right? So now what we've read so far is that Job started complaining to his friends. And what he said was that he was speaking from the bitterness of his soul. That's what Job said, right? So now we at the end of where his friend was responding to him and everything that he said when Job was complaining. So now what his friend told him was that, as for you, if you redirect your heart and spread out your hands to him in prayer, if there is iniquity in your hand, remove it, and don't allow injustice to dwell in your tents. So now what I was about to say, good morning, Ashley girl. What's been going on? But this is actually a new live, y'all. I had to start over. But what Job was saying, what his friend was saying was that to rid all evil, basically. And a lot of people will battle with that too, because see, the enemy, he had become very good at guilt tripping. Girl, good enough, girl, good enough. About to get through this live. I didn't have to start over, but you know how the enemy, he will easily try to guilt trip you through little things. So that's why I was saying in the last live that this part was actually important, when his friend starts to tell him to free himself from fault, right? So the next part, it says, you will be firmly established and unafraid, for you will forget your suffering, recalling it only as water that has flowed by. Now this right here, y'all, is crazy. Because one thing I can say about God is that you can go through a hard battle, but it's weird how once you persevere through that battle and you make it through, you actually reach the light at the end of that tunnel. It's very powerful, I'm going to say. I was going to say weird, but it's actually very powerful how God will get you to a point to where it will become peaceful. You will just be at peace at it. You will be at peace with it. So when he says, for you will forget your suffering, recalling it only as water that has flowed by. First and foremost, that means that when you look back on that season, when you look back on this season, you're going to be like, that was nothing. That's how you're going to feel about it, because you're going to feel like it just literally flowed by you. Like, I thought it was hard while I was going through it, but it has no power over me. You literally are going to become stronger. You're going to be looking at that battle like, I could do it again. Do you get what I'm saying? But look, so it says, your life. I'm sorry. God just pointed something out to me. Job's friend is actually speaking prophetically to him, but his friend don't even know that. That's crazy. Because I was just hearing God tell me how important it is to have good friends around you. Listen, let me tell you. See, I'm going somewhere I ain't even plan to go. See, this is why God had this live be restarted. He said, I'm about to take a turn. Okay. So the message was delivered in the last live, because listen, God was speaking to me about this friend right now that is speaking to Job, right? Because y'all see how Job is actually being uplifted through the truth that his friend is speaking to him. And when I say truth, he is speaking on God's behalf. He is in a way speaking about God's character. Because earlier in this chapter, Job's friend was speaking about how God's ways is higher. It's way more mightier. It's way more powerful. It's deeper than you could ever understand. And in other words, Job's friend is telling Job to just relax and understand that you aren't going to figure this thing out. You get what I'm saying? So in other words, he is saying, be who you are and have the power that you have as a human. And the power that we have is faith and obedience, right? So with that being said, Job's friend is speaking on God's behalf and pouring into his spirit. Little do he know, this redirection that his friend is having, this insight that his friend just so happens to have when it comes to God, is actually strengthening Job's spirit. But then he starts to prophesy for the simple fact that Job wins in the end. But look at what his friend says. He said, for you will forget your suffering, recalling it only as water that has flowed by. Your life will be brighter than noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning. Now remember how Job said in the last chapter, the very last thing Job said was that the darkness, even the light in this season, is dark. In other words, that's what Job was saying. But do you see how Job's friend says that its darkness will be like the morning? Oh my God. That's a real restoration. Like, that's a real God level restoration for even your dark seasons to feel like they are bright. But either way it goes, listen, it says you will be confident because there is hope. You will look carefully about and lie down in safety. You will, wait, I almost read the same one twice. But you will lie down in safety, and many will seek your favor. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, is it not true even to this day people seek the favor of Job? But see, Job's life literally shows you that there will be conflict, there will be doubt, there will be a feeling of defeation. There will be a confusion of what God is doing. So therefore, there will be uncertainty. You won't have clarity. You will feel defeated. But he is showing you that even when you persevere through this, how God will turn things around, how God has the power to do a complete 180 on your life. But see, a lot of people don't find it worthy to cling to God. They never reach that land. Like, honestly, they don't. Because people, they don't have faith. Do you get what I'm saying? They look at God and they believe that God is supposed to move on their timing and according to their plan. And that's where they be getting it messed up. Because see, God be like, I'm a big God. I'm not no little God. What did he say? What did Job's friend say? That his thoughts are higher than the heavens. Okay, so when us humans who ain't even reached heaven be like, Lord, you need to do it my way, God be looking like, and that'll never work. Oh, and that'll never get you there. Because at the end of the day, it's not even just about getting you there. It's about pruning your character. It's about making sure you're equipped for everything you asking for. God is like, I'm not going to take you here and then you lose your soul. I need you to understand what it means to walk with me. I need you to understand the importance of clinging to me. I don't need you to just understand what I can do because I know what I can do. That's how God be moving in our life. He like, listen, I don't have to do nothing. I know it's a lot of people. He like, listen, I know you humans down below. I know y'all like to half clean up, half do the dishes, half work out, half. But God is like, I'm not a half doer. Because he like, why would I halfway get you there? Why would I get you there but not equip you for where I'm taking you to? That's half doing the job. And God be looking at us like, if you don't want to be equipped, I'm not going to take you there. Because that's not how I work. If I get you there, you're going to be able to sustain it. You're going to be worthy of it. You're going to be qualified to keep it. You're going to understand who I was in the midst of it. You ain't going to idolize that because the things that I'm even giving you, the places that I'm taking you don't even have power. Okay, getting you there was the power. The place was already there. So God is like, listen, I need you to understand who actually is in charge and what's in charge. That really be the whole, listen, I don't know who I'm speaking to. I don't know who I'm speaking to, honestly, because this ain't even a battle that I'm really going through right now. I mean, everybody goes through something or is going through something, but I can't say that I'm in a Job season. You know what I'm saying? But either way it goes, let's get to the ending part. So it says, you will firmly be established and unafraid. For you will forget your suffering, recalling it only as water that has flowed by. Your life will be brighter than noonday. Its darkness will be like the morning. You will be confident because there is hope. You will look carefully about and lie down in safety. You will lie down with no one to frighten you, and many will seek your favor. But the sight of the wicked will fail. Their way of escape will be cut off, and their only hope is their last breath. And that's the end of the chapter, y'all. I'm sorry the word got cut in half. So if you want to see the entire message, you got to go to part 1. It'll be the video right before this video, okay? But either way it goes, y'all are so funny. Y'all done got to know each other y'all done got to know each other, y'all. That's funny. I see Robert and Ashley in the comments. Y'all so funny. But yeah, so that's what God had led me to talk about this morning, though. For whoever that's for, he was just speaking on the Job season. I don't know if you fresh in your Job season, or you exiting your Job season, or you midway Job season. But listen and understand. If you don't take nothing from this, it's time for you to cling to the Lord. Everything that you feel in your heart, we understand that. That's the whole point. That's another whole point on why God wanted me to break this chapter down, is because look at everything Job was feeling in his heart. Job said that, God, you have harvested my iniquity. Basically saying, like, you haven't really forgiven me. And this is why you're having all these things come up against me. But listen and understand, the company you keep is going to be very important. And it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be so confused on why you can't stick with them, why they can't come with you. They're not going to understand it. But this is why I always say, and the reason why I'm speaking on this is because it keeps being placed on my heart. Job's friend. Through everything that Job was going through, look at Job's friend, though. Like, Job's friend literally saw him at his lowest, completely defeated. Look at everything Job went through, y'all. Come on now. He lost his kids. Moment after moment, people kept coming to him. Oh, this just happened. Oh, this just happened too. Job is one man. Even his wife said, you need to curse God and die. Like, come on now. He had to be going through a lot for his wife to say, God, just take him. Do you get what I'm saying? He was going through the ultimate. And when you going through that season, you have to understand how important it is to already have your circle equipped. And let me tell y'all something else. See, your circle is going to reveal your heart posture. The only reason why Job had the correct people to walk right into his life, his friends that came to visit him, the only reason why they were equipped for his battle is because they match his heart posture before his battle. Stop playing. Stop playing. Like, seriously. And people will wonder, and I went through that season too, where I had to let people go. I didn't hate them people, but their character was nothing like mine. And when you give advice, y'all gonna clash, because they not gonna want to do what it is you would think. They not gonna want to do the right thing. Point blank, period. You gonna be like, girl, don't go. This is real facts, y'all. You gonna be like, girl, don't go sleeping around trying to get back with that man. Leave that man. He done cheated on you 32 times. I can't even count how many times he done cheated. I can't even count how many times I saw you broke. I can't even count no more. Okay, it's year after year, year after year, year after year, year after year. You still crying. You get what I'm saying? So they not going to want to take your advice, because many people don't want to do and walk in strength. Honestly, That's really what it comes down to. People don't want to walk in strength. They want to walk in revenge. They want to walk in what makes sense to the human level of understanding. They don't want to be called to higher. Okay, that's what that reveals. When you picking and choosing your company and you give them the option, that's the right option, but it's the hard decision and they don't want to choose it, that reveals their character. They don't want to be called to higher. And even if they do want to be called to higher, it's one or two things. They want to be called to higher so that they can be glorified, or they want to be called to higher, but they're not ready. And if you're ready, but they aren't ready, guess what? Y'all still unequally yoked. You get what I'm saying? It's still going to be hard. So listen, y'all. Sorry. But I don't know who this second part is for, because I didn't plan on making a second part. But like I said, you're going to have to analyze the company that you have in this season, because God knows that you are either entering in the midst of or just exiting your Job season. And he is telling you right now, you're going to have to be picky. And it's not because you think that you're better. It's because you're willing to do differently. And you don't listen. One thing God spoke to me about a couple days ago, he said a lot of people want to they want to see change, but they don't want to change. In order to change, you got to change. You get what I'm saying? And that be the issue with a lot of people, and y'all don't understand how much. I posted this, I think yesterday, on some other platforms, on my other platforms. And I was saying how you won't realize how much a person has held you back until you let them go. And you got to press through that season. You got to, y'all, I can't say it enough. You really got to press. And one piece of advice that God gave me, he said, don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid of pain. That's what he told me. It was pain. He said, don't be afraid of pain. A lot of people, they think that pain is stronger than them. They think that pain is like the end of the road. Stop playing with me. Because no, pain literally is the beginning of like joy. It's like the beginning of harvest. It's like, and the reason why I say that is because what I'm seeing is like, even in a field with harvesting, right? Whatever is trying to bloom, it has to press through the shell. It has to press to open. You get what I'm saying? It has to press through to receive the light so that it can, the sun is what I'm talking about. It has to press through so that it can start receiving the sun and blooming and growing and prosper. You gotta press at the end of the day. And it's no getting around it. And so many people, they want to cheat. They want to cheat through it. They can't build from the ground up. They can't come through authentically. You get what I'm saying? They ain't got the power to press. But God has called you to press. And do you know what that means? That means he's going to give you the power to do it. He ain't calling you to press for no reason. He ain't calling you to press just to fail. And let me tell y'all something else. Sometimes in the midst of your pressing, you'll give up for a day or two. You'll throw in the towel for a day or two. Job was throwing in the towel. So don't let, and I'm pointing this out because don't let the enemy make you think that because you had a moment of doubt, or because you have iniquity in your past, or because you have failed in the midst of your process, don't let him think that God just gave up on the whole plan. Like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, you had a moment of doubt. Oh, okay, you gave up. You threw in the towel for a day. Let me tell y'all something. When I was in my Job season, I'm coming out my Job season. That's what I know. But when I was in the beginning of my Job season, in the middle, it wasn't even the beginning. It was the midway. Now that I'm looking at the time frame, midway of my Job season, I remember I said, God, I'm not doing this no more. And I'm done. Because I don't even believe that God a God like God, you would look at all of this. You would see all of this and just say, she got it. Like, you would just leave me on my own. You ain't gonna do nothing about it. Let me tell y'all, even if God don't do what it is that you wanted him to do, your peace is coming. That's what you need to pray for. Don't even pray for him to do nothing. Pray for peace. Because at the end of the day, nothing is more powerful than peace. If you don't care, you just don't. It is nothing nobody can do. It's nothing that nothing can do. So pray for peace. Pray for peace and strength. And if he don't give you peace, ask for strength in the midst of your struggling. Oh, my mama. So I point this out to say that even though I'm exiting my Job season, I too went through days where I was like, I think I'm done with God. I think I'm done. So don't think that that's rare. Don't think that that's abnormal. Don't think that that forfeits your calling. Don't think that that forfeits God pulling you through. God pulled me through. God pulled Job through. You get what I'm saying? Because I know how the enemy comes in and he tries to tell you, oh, see, you messed up now. Hold on, wait. Let me tell y'all something even bigger. Let me tell y'all something even bigger. Y'all remember how I told y'all when I first got pregnant? First and foremost, I was, what is it called? I was abstinent, whatever it's called, abstinent, celibate. I don't know. I was just trying to do right by God, right? Ended up getting pregnant. Then after that, I was doing my channel. I wanted to work for God. Y'all, none of that stopped the show. And I'm not telling nobody to go out and fall into fornication. I ain't telling nobody to go out and think that they gonna have the same grace that God has shown. Don't ever make that mistake. Walk as strongly as you can. And the reason why I say, because I've made that mistake. Thinking, oh, God showed them this type of grace. He did it for them. Oh, he finna do that for me. No, sometimes he don't. Most of the time he doesn't. That grace and that favor that he did on them, that was for them. Your grace and favor probably gonna fall in a whole different area. It just wasn't the area that you thought it was gonna fall in. You get what I'm saying? So just walk as strongly as you can. But either way it goes, I just point all of this out to say that the mistakes that I've made along the way, it didn't stop the show of God. It didn't even stop the promise of God. Y'all, I spent 5 years in fornication. I lost my virginity to my ex-fiance. And then I told myself, I said, I'm never doing that again. Y'all, I did it again and again and again and again. You hear me? Year after year after year after year after year. And knew that I was doing wrong by God. You get what I'm saying? Y'all, after I exited out of that, I went straight into a Job season. I'm isolated. I'm away from believers. I'm the only true believer. You get what I'm saying? Y'all, first time mom, still in school. It's so battling health. It's so much that will literally be happening in life. Then ex-fiance, he passed away. So all of that, like, everything was everything. But at the end of the day, the calling that God has spoken to me about before I fell into the 5 years of fornication, I didn't even know that God was really telling me, like, I called you to this. And I didn't even know that he was calling me to that. And then I fell into all them years of backsliding. And then I came into the Job season. And now I'm coming out of it. And God is like, okay, back to the plan. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. All these years, all these things that went on, fornication, baby out of wedlock, everything happened in then the Job season. It's like, whoa, it's getting worse. You get what I'm saying? But no, it was really the pruning. It was really the love of God. It was really favor. It was really grace that was happening in my Job season. And it don't look like that. I'm coming here to literally tell y'all because I know how easy it is to get it mistaken. Don't mistake your Job season as God hating you. No, God is choosing you. When you, what? No, wait, whoa. If he called you to have to face battles that are as hard as a Job season, it's a whole lot of chosen activity going on in the book of Job. You get what I'm saying? So you got to call it for what it is. But either way it goes, y'all, I didn't plan to be on here this long, honestly. So whoever this word is for, he called me on here to give y'all this word this morning. He spoke to me about this last night before I was going to bed, and then I was just like, all right, I'm about to go to bed. Nah, all right, I gotta go to bed. I'm sleepy. So I ended up going to sleep, but I knew I had to wake back up and get right to this. So either way it goes, whoever you are, God just wants to give you this nudge to keep going, and he wants you to understand that he does see you, although you probably feel unseen. And not only that, but victory comes after the morning. See, God gave me that phrase yesterday. Y'all know how people say joy comes in the morning? Yesterday, God was speaking to me, and he said, joy comes in the morning. Y'all know how the phrase is in the morning. I think it believes like morning as like sun rising. But what he taught me yesterday was that really joy is developed in the midst of your morning. That's what I learned like throughout life. So whoever that's for, listen, you gonna rejoice in the end, just like Job's friend told him. But I love y'all, and I got somewhere to be in a little while, and I think I got a call that's about to come through. Let me try to read y'all comments though, because I love y'all. I don't want to just like not see nothing y'all said, because I actually like reading what y'all said. But it says, amen, strength comes from God. You already know, Ashley. Come on now. You already know. Let me try to come from this side, because it says, amen. Ooh, I threw in the towel. She said, woo, I threw in the towel so many times, and God threw it back and said, come on, give me 5 more. Okay, I'm trying to tell you. He be like, oh, you gave me 50? Okay, drop it. Let's get back in here and want smoke? What you doing? I said, what you doing?